Welcome to the Living Unconventionally podcast. I'm your host, Chris Piak. With us today is Andrea Elibero. And Andrea is back on the show. She has joined us once before in episode 193. And I recommend you check it out. When she told us about her dream to move to Italy and start a new life. Now it's how many months later, Andrea?
I don't know, maybe 9 months or so?
Half a year?
A year?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
something like that. I get a feeling quite a lot has changed for you.
Yes, a lot has changed.
Tell us about it.
So last time I spoke with you, I was figuring out what to do to be location independent. I was still at my 9 to 5 and I was a little bit lost in the world and didn't know what to do. Currently, I am in my new business and location independent.
Awesome.
And in addition, I have been approved to be an Italian citizen.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome as a fellow European Union citizen.
Oh, thank you.
That's really great to hear. Tell us about the road between back then, when we talked to each other, and what happened now. First of all, do you remember the end of our conversation when you hang up the phone? What went through your head back then?
The phone conversation was actually really helpful in trying to niche down on what exactly am I going to do. But it left a lot of self-discovery. So it was a good motivator. And I felt like, okay, I need to do something, so really motivated to go get out and actually do the thing that I've been dreaming of doing.
Mm-hmm. I'm making a wild guess here because I know that's how life planned out. Tell us first what you thought, what your road would be like until now, and then let's talk about what actually happened. Because if I know anything about lives, then usually these two, they don't ever match.
Right. I have to say that I think I've learned enough that I don't make these assumptions about what the road will be. I was just really focused on starting and kind of trying to do what I need to do. So what I ended up doing was I started a virtual assistant business. When I spoke with you last time, I wasn't 100% sure if that was the right path or it seemed like the easier path, but I decided that I had already spent a really long time thinking, and so now it was time for action, and I'm just going to jump in and do and see how it goes. So in January, I started a course, which was incredibly helpful, and I highly recommend it for somebody in anything. If you can find a course, if you're a course person and you like to, I'm a nerd and I like to go to school, so I'm a course person, so it was very motivating for me.
So you took a course?
I did, yeah. I took a course in how to start a virtual assistant business, and which was great because I did it really fast. I did the majority of it in a 10-day break over Christmas time that I took from my work instead of, months that it could take, because I really just wanted to get started. And I think if I didn't do the course, it would have taken me months to figure out how to start a business because I have no idea. I've never done it before.
Yeah, I think this is really good advice for anybody listening. You need to take advantage of the momentum.
Yes, yes.
If you drag it out and you start thinking and spread yourself out over a long period of time, then you simply lose the energy. So I think that's good advice to really power through.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And it was great. It was, I spent my vacation doing it, but it was well worth the time. And I have no regrets over that because within that month, I got my first client.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And how did that happen?
Well, following the course instructions. So with marketing, basically, I reached out to everybody that I knew and just told them this is what I'm doing. And in addition, posting in Facebook groups and just, saying that, hi, introducing yourself and saying, this is what I'm about. And then it just so happened that there was somebody who was looking for a virtual assistant. I work in wellness because that's my passion. Mm-hmm. So somebody who was a life coach who was looking for somebody. So that was my first client and still with me today.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So you can celebrate your 1-year anniversary, your 1-year business anniversary.
Yes. Yeah. And moving forward from that, I have to say that it was not at all easy. I was, again, very motivated because I knew that I did not want to stay working a traditional 9 to 5, and I wanted to be location independent. So I basically worked 80 hours a week for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very exhausting. In addition, well, this is not location independent, but I teach yoga. So I was doing that as well. So I was balancing a lot of things, working every day, no days off, but it paid off because 3 weeks ago, I quit my job and I am...
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so I am currently in my virtual assistant role full time.
Awesome. There's a lot of stuff that I'm, as someone who has been in business for 30 years, but I'm interested in. First of all, to go back to your first client, who did end up being your first client? Was it someone that you already were very close with? Was it someone that got somehow introduced to you, or was it someone that you really reached through marketing?
It was somebody, the very first one was actually somebody through marketing by putting it out there. The next client that I got very shortly after that was actually also a member of an entrepreneurial group that I am also in. So that was somebody I had met in person. Mm-hmm. The next one after that was somebody who was referred to me by a former neighbor of mine who works in a similar industry, who works in branding and websites and whatnot. So it's been a combination.
That's really interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, 3 customers is a very good start. Mm-hmm. And then also you used really every single channel that is available. You know, people you know personally, people you reach through advertisement, and personal recommendations.
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm sorry if that might be a little bit boring for people who are listening, but I'm always looking for the ways to optimize business when I coach people who are in the business world. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, if you compare the 3 clients that you have now, which of them is for you the most valuable? And is there any kind of correlation between how valuable this client is to you in terms of what they pay you compared to how you got this client? Or is there no connection between those 2 points?
I would say that actually my first clients I offered at a lower rate than what I currently take clients at. So financially, it might not be the best, but I don't think for me, there's not a correlation in terms of value and pay. Actually, sometimes I feel like when we know people or we have a connection, we tend to offer lower prices than somebody that we don't know.
Well, good people like you do.
Yeah, true. I shouldn't generalize.
People like me feel like, okay, that's the price.
No, that's a smarter way to do it. Trust me. And, on my training, they say don't do that, and it's really hard sometimes to go by that.
Yeah, you must think about this as doing a service to your client, because what the client wants is the best service. And for you to be able to deliver the best service, you need to charge a price that allows you to do this. And it gives you the time and the means to do so.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you, and I no longer offer discounts.
Which just shows what a generous person you and I are.
Yes. So, but yeah, no, I don't, for me personally, there's not a correlation between how I got the client. Actually, when you were speaking about value, what popped into my mind was actually the service that I do for the client. Because for me, a valuable client is somebody that I'm actually learning something that I'm offering to them because I'm improving my skills. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's actually, that's actually what equals value.
So now it's 1 year later. You have
6 months later.
6 months later.
Yeah, and actually I have more clients than that. Those are just the beginning. So I do have a full load, which is great.
Oh, this is really wonderful, But you said there was a lot of hard work, 80 hours of work. Was it mostly to fulfill services to your client, or was it that you invested so much time to find these clients in the first place?
Most of the work in those 80 hours is, in combination with my 9 to 5 and working, was client work. I actually have to say that I feel like I don't have a lot of time myself to do as many things for my business as I'd like to do at this point, which is actually something that most of my clients, that's why they hire me. So I'm kind of in their shoes. So yeah, at first it's working on the business and marketing, and then it kind of transitions a bit into client work, and that taking up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you take stock of your life at this point on a scale from 1 to 10? How happy are you?
So much happier. I was definitely, I'm up on the higher range, 8, 9. I think that for me, and maybe a lot of people that are listening that feel the same, like on Sundays when it came time to go to work the next day, I would always feel a sense of dread, and not because or stress, or not because like my job was fine. It was just something about that life was just not for me. And now I feel much more relaxed. I'm working a ton, don't get me wrong. I am working in the mornings and the afternoons. I'm working in the evenings, but I don't feel the sense of dread. I don't feel as much stress from what I was feeling before. And now I feel more.
How come?
I don't know. I feel like my time is my own. I have a lot of work to do, but I choose when I do it.
So you are in control.
I'm more in control, and that to me is really important. So the freedom of being in control of my time is very important to me. And like normally, so for instance, last weekend, I live currently in Miami, and last weekend on Sunday I went to the Keys, Key Largo, went snorkeling, and I didn't come home until like 9:30 at night or something on Sunday. And if I had to go to work the next day, I would have been thinking at like 5 or 6 p.m., like I have to go home because I have to do this and get ready for work. And I don't even know what. It would have been stressful. But because I felt more free. So on Sunday, I could fully enjoy the day. I was more present, and it was fine that I got home at 9:30 because I didn't have to prepare something for the next day. So it's just for me, it's better, much better.
And what are your next plans? What happens about travel? Is that still on your agenda?
Yes. I have plans to go to Bali in September for 2 weeks. So that's my big travel plan coming up. And I'm actually figuring out how to balance the work and the travel when it's kind of a shorter trip like that. So getting some advice about that. I am, like I said, I was approved for the Italian passport, but it takes a year and a half or something. So I'm still waiting for the actual passport, but I definitely have plans to incorporate more and more travel as time goes on.
Can you get an intermediary document before you get the official passport? Because you are a citizen already. If they
approved, well, they accepted my paperwork, but they have not sent the actual official approval. So that I don't know.
So and when that happens, is Italy still something that you would consider or Europe? Actually, as a European Union citizen, it's not only Italy that's open to you; it's all of Europe.
Right? Yeah. I would love to be able to go back and forth and kind of do maybe half time there, half time here. Now I feel free, right? So I feel like I can do whatever I want. So we'll see where life takes me. So we know about the plans; they don't always work out. But I think that would be it's definitely on the radar, and I definitely want to spend a good portion of my time abroad and in Italy and Europe and somewhere.
Do you have a favorite place where you want to go once you go to Bali first, and then later when you go to Italy? Now I'm speaking German. The heat here is insane at the moment.
No, because I just want to go everywhere. So I have a connection in Italy. I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but my family is from Viareggio, which is a town in Tuscany. So whenever I go there, I feel a connection there, and it makes me very happy. So I would love to. I haven't been there since 2010, so I would love to go back and see some family and spend some time there.
Andrea, I wish you all the best for your near future. How can the listeners of Living Unconventionally help you to achieve your next step in your journey?
Oh, just being here and listening to my journey, not about help. I like to share this because listening to this podcast has really inspired me. So if I could help to inspire others, that would be great. If you want to check out my travels and my work stuff, you can see my Instagram. It's Dancing Leaf Yogi, and say hi. Come say hi to me.
Great. Andrea Elivero was this back on the Living Unconventionally podcast, and I hope maybe in a year or so we will have another conversation and see how your citizenship goes and how your Italian goes along. As Andrea said, check out on Instagram at Dancing Leaf Yogi. Is that correct? This is a very short episode of the Living Unconventionally podcast because it's very, very hot here in Düsseldorf in Germany. Yesterday I had a live webinar for my company, for the Immigrant Spirit GmbH. And after 30 minutes, the internet connection just died because we have near 98 degree Fahrenheit at the moment. I hope you all enjoyed the summer. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the Living Unconventionally podcast right here, wherever you are listening, and enjoy a new episode with new adventure seekers who chase their passion around the world every Monday here in the podcast. My name is Chris Piak, and we hear each other next week again. Bye-bye.